Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospecting, and it is Paydirt review time again. And for today, we're going to be going through a bag of Goldbay's 3-pound, 3-gram Paydirt. Now, not too long ago, one of my Patreon members contacted me and asked me if I wanted to go through a bag of this. So he had just ordered some because, well, he was talking to Dave over at Goldbay. He had told him that he had gotten new Paydirt in, and that he was no longer pulling the gravel from an old area, and now he was using river concentrates. So he wanted me to try it, and he sent me a bag of it. I have to send him back the gold, but I'll do that deal any day because I get to have the fun. So one of my small complaints I've ever had about Goldbay, besides the bag, which I'm still not a fan of, is that the Paydirt tends to be really, really dirty. Or it used to be anyway. I'm hoping for something new this time. And while normally dirty Paydirt isn't something you should be concerned about, if you're a beginner painter, it can make finding the gold a little bit trickier. So it has been one of my complaints. I've never lowered the score any because of it, but it is something I mentioned in my videos. So I am really, really excited to see if this is far less dirtier than the old Goldbay Paydirt. And the only way to find that out is to pan it out. But first, I'm going to post up the description, and then we're going to classify it down, and then we're going to pan it out. So let's post up the description right here. Well, as you saw, the description was pretty lacking, doesn't really give you a lot of information. In fact, Dave recently posted a poll type thing on Facebook where he was asking how he could improve and things like that. And that was my big comment. Add more description. But that's what he's got. So let's just get to the Paydirt. It is supposed to be 3 pounds. Let's weigh it up. 3 pounds, 15.4 ounces. So definitely way over the 3 pounds that he stated. It also came with a year subscription to Gold Prospector magazine. I don't know if this comes in every one, but this bag did happen to have one. So if you get that, that's a bonus because my subscription actually ended. So I got a free subscription. So, all right, let's just classify this down and I'm gonna let you listen to some music. But before I let you listen to some music, let's open this up. And as you can see, the bag is leaking. It's one of the reasons I really dislike this bag Dave uses. It is an improvement over his original bag, which was just a coffee sack. And it just leaked like crazy. But these bags aren't much better. I will rinse this out. Let's look at the new material before we classify it down. Definitely looks a little damp. Doesn't look like it's damp enough that will stop me from classifying, but we're going to find out. If that happens, I will dry it out. But definitely different material than what I was used to with Goldbay. So, should be fun, should be exciting. Now I'm going to let you listen to some music, and we're going to classify this down. So there you go, all classified down, and the majority of this is in the plus 10 and probably the minus 20 plus 40, and then a little bit less than the minus 40. But not very much in the minus 10 plus 20, still enough that it should be enjoyable to pan out and hopefully find some gold. But let's see how much magnetite or magnetics is in this. Nice little bit, pretty good. So
just enough that it'll probably make it a little bit more challenging to pan out. I will say it still is a little bit damp, but not enough. It still went through a -40 mesh screen, so it would be great in the description if you said it might be a little damp though, because I could have, you could open it up, throw it in a pan, and let it sit there overnight so it dry out finally. And also, I am really happy that this is not dusty material. It might be because it's slightly damp, but I am so tired of some really dusty material just tearing up my equipment. But let's just get to it. I'm going to be right back, and we're going to pan this out. Well, have my very clean water here all set up for the Paydirt. So the Paydirt's all ready, clean water is ready, and we're going to find out if it turns this stuff bright brown like the old Goldbay Paydirt did. So let's get started with the +10. Well, finished panning everything out, and I have to say that was pretty enjoyable compared to the old Goldbay Paydirt. Wasn't as messy. Probably in an hour that water will be clear again, so it did dirty it up a little bit, but just typical of normal Paydirt. It wasn't really oversaturated with dust where you can't see it anymore and you're just waiting and you have to pour it off and stuff like that. But it's pretty good. So let's just get to the gold I found. And in the +10, as you saw, a lot of big pickers. Now I will say, let me show you this one right here. The one thing, especially a lot of times with Goldbay Paydirt, I've noticed the gold tends to have a very iron look to it, so it's not as bright and shiny as a lot of other sellers will have. I mean, if you can just look at this, It is more of a dull gold compared to a lot of other sellers where it's bright and shiny and they want to make sure you see it. So like on this one particular piece, if it wasn't for just the weight of it, I probably would have over-panned it off, or a lot of people would have panned it off just thinking it was a rock, because it is very, very ugly and dirty, but it is gold, and that's all that matters. So make sure when you're panning any of Dave's Paydirt, you really go through it, because his Paydirt and his gold typically doesn't have that bright, shiny look to it like a lot of other sellers, especially on his chunky gold. Now with the smaller, finer gold, a lot of times, you know, it is a little bit shinier, as you will see in the -10 plus 20. I found even more gold. And as you can see, this stuff's a little bit brighter and shinier. About 20 pieces there. And I also found, I guess it was 18 big, nice little pickers in the top one. And a lot of them were really flat in the +10, making it pretty difficult to pan out, but nothing super hard. Now in the -20 plus 40, even more gold. A nice little pile. Again, about 20 pieces. And then in the -40, wah wah, I actually did find some gold. When I repanned it, I don't know if you'll even be able to see it. There is one tiny, tiny little piece there. I found one piece in the -40 when I repanned it. So I did find gold in the -40. This is not even going to get close to moving the scale. Maybe if I put my finger on the scale, it'll move it. But other than that, it won't move it. But let's find out how much I did find here. So in the +10. $2.690. Now I am guaranteed 3 grams in this bag. So that was about 2.7 of it. This looks like it's going to be close, but it should be the 3 grams. $0.240. $0.085. And there's no purpose in me doing this little bitty piece because it's not going to budge the scale. There you go. 3.020. So I'm going to be right back with my ROI and my review. All right, finished calculating my ROI, writing up my review, and let's get right to it. This again was from Goldbay.com. It was his 3-pound, 3-gram bag. Its cost was $139.95. Shipping was $8.95. So grand total right here, $148.90. Gold I recovered, again, right here, 3.020 grams of gold. Gold spot on the day this was received was $47.52, making this gold's value at the time it was received $143.51, making my ROI 96.38%. Now, one of the things I want to say, the price of this Paydirt has gone up as gold has gone up, because gold is now at $50 a gram, which means this is actually an over 100% ROI once you calculate it in. But the price of gold could have dropped, so it could be lower. That's why I do all my ROIs based on the day this is received. But just in case you're curious, because I was curious, the new price of this bag is $147.95, so an $8 jump. But with shipping, that total comes to $156.90. But like I said, gold per gram is now $50.02, which means if I would have gotten this Paydirt in today, I would have gotten $151.06 worth of gold, which would have meant my ROI would have been 96.28%. So as you can see, they were both 96% ROIs, and Dave really adjusts his price based on the gold spot, as you can see, but you're still getting a great ROI. I am never going to complain about a 96.38% ROI, or on my scale, a 9.6. Now for fun factor, I'm giving it a 10. It was a lot of gold. It was some chunky gold. It was, his description as it stated had some chunky gold in it. And the Paydirt was a lot less messy than his old Paydirt. So I'm giving it a 10 on that. For Paydirt description, I'm giving him a 6. Now I know earlier in the video I said when I showed you the description that it was kind of lacking, but I actually hadn't gotten to that point. I had just copied and pasted it and wasn't paying attention. And I do all that in editing. But in fact, he has a decent description, not a great description, but he does tell you that the gold in it you find will be chunkier. Because when I originally saw all this chunky gold in here, I was like, that's a lot of the gold. But because he tells you in the description, it's mostly going to be chunky gold, you can't be disappointed when you're finding a majority of it in the upper plus 10 classification. So really happy with it. So for Paydirt description, he's getting a 6. For quantity and packaging, he's getting an 8. A 10 for quantity because he always puts in more dirt than you're guaranteed. But unfortunately, those bags are just still horrible. I'm giving him a 6 for the bag. So 8 total. 10 plus 6 divided by 2 is an 8 for Paydirt quantity and packaging. For customer service and shipping, he's getting a 10. Dave always ships out really quickly, and he's always available either on Facebook or he does reply to his messages. So pretty happy with that. Total score for Goldbay's 3-pound, 3-gram bag of brand new river concentrates. And that's what this is river cons. Or river gravel, is an 8.7. So I'm really happy with that. I'm not going to complain about an 8.7. And what's funny is usually in a lot of my reviews the only reason people get a decent score is because their quantity and their description and their customer service. Where in this one, the only thing keeping this score down is the description and the packaging. Whereas if those were both 10s, this would be a knockout. Buy it every time. But 8.7 is a great score. So all that's left to do is to flash up the score and give out a 24 karat gold plated dime. So let's flash up the score right here. Now before I give away this 24 karat gold plated dime, I do have to do some shout outs to some of my newest Patreon members. And I'm actually going to do quite a few today, and I normally try not to do that, but the last 2 videos, I kind of totally forgot to do it, and I'm getting backlogged a little bit with my Patreon members. So let's just read off some names, and I want to thank each and every one of you for joining my Patreon, and everyone who's already been a Patreon member, thank you very much. So here's my newest members. Ed over at Flash in Your Pan, Ronnie Duran, Justin Preet, Michael Hafner, Neil Olson, Zach Melby, Harlan A, and Chad Thielman. Oh yeah, we'll do one more. Darren Delosier. So Darren Delosier and all the rest of you, thank you very much for joining my Patreon page. And if everyone else wants to help keep this channel open, make sure you visit my Patreon page at patreon.com/Miller Prospecting. And you can get some cool tier rewards every month, as well as be entered into some giveaways every month. But now, to the 24 karat gold plated dime, and I know I'm going to butcher up this name. This dime is going to Mike Wesolowski. So Wesolowski, Mike, make sure you email me so I can send this off to you. And everyone else, thanks for watching and happy panning. Oh, and make sure you hit the subscribe button below.